Hey there, Harry back again. Hope recruitment's treating everybody well. To all you JobScience users, we're going to be talking today about email shots, creating templates, creating shortlists, and going through the process of sending the email. First things first, build your template. Really important here. Countless times I've spoken to consultants who get a shortlist together, they go to send their email, and they've got nothing to send, and they have to go right the way back to the beginning, and it's frustrating. I get that. So to set up the template, we have to go to our name, top right hand side. We go to setup. We're interested here in email, and within email we are going to create or edit an email template. Now, you may see different templates, you may have a different folder. It's okay, dependent on where you start this page. Where you save it is the most important aspect. You can save it into a team, you can save it into personal email templates. Obviously, if you save it into personal email templates, it won't be visible to other people. It's entirely up to you how you do it and where you save it. So don't worry too much what you see on this page. What we're interested in here is this tab, because we want to create a new template. Of the options, I tend to use HTML. It looks better, gives you more versatility, better graphics, better branding. Come to next. And here is where we need to name and save our template. Tell the system what we want to call it and where we want to put it. Default typically will be my personal email templates. As I said before, if you want to save it into a team, if it's a manager doing this and you want to have a generic one where your consultants can use, save it into a shared folder. If you don't know how to do that, talk to your administrator, they'll be able to sort it out for you. Make sure at all times it is available for use. If you forget to click this button and you get to the end, you will not see the template. Again, quite confusing. People say they've done it, it's not there. It's typically because they've forgotten to click this button. We then want to give it a name. This won't appear anywhere on the actual template itself. This is just what we're going to call it when we're storing it. I'm just going to call this Mailshot for now. Make it relevant to what you're doing. Birthday, Christmas, top 100, great opportunity, whatever it is you want to put it. Obviously have that as the email template name. When it comes to letterhead, it depends on what sits within your system. Typically you'll have one company brand, you might have a divisional brand or a product brand, however it is your particular recruitment business works. Within CD we have a number of different divisions. We also have a multi-brand header which is just CD recruitment, and that's one which we're going to use for today. The email layout, typically I prefer to do a freeform letter. Again, have a play around with them. The freeform letter is the most basic of them, but it gives you the most flexibility and versatility later on. The description, this is just to reinforce the template name. Over time you can build 10, 30, however many templates, and they can become quite complex in terms of finding them later on. Just help yourself by giving it a name that makes it easier then to find it out. Once you're happy with that, you've double checked it's available for use, you've remembered where you've saved it, we go to next. This is where we want to build and design the template itself. Now obviously with email, when you're reaching out to clients, when you're reaching out to candidates, you want it to be quite short, you want it to be quite punchy, you want it to be relevant of course, and above all, spell checked, grammar checked, and make sure you're sending it to the right people, but we'll do that later on. Now the subject line is the line that will appear in their inbox as the subject to entice them to open it up, to motivate them to open it up, have something punchy, have something which is going to have that reaction, which is going to increase your open rate. They're going to know it's come from you, so it's pretty clear it's going to be about recruitment. So what I tend to do in here is put in something that you believe will be relevant to them. Try and avoid vague opening gambits like great opportunity, star opportunity, whatever it is. They might look at it as sheer inquisitiveness, but try and make it a bit more professional. Try and make it something that is going to make them feel that this role could be relevant to them, or they could add some value. So try and put a bit more information in there. Okay. So I'm just going to put here information and make it relevant. Now in the letter itself, you can see that I've got the CD recruitment branding. Your company will be very different dependent on the divisional brand. But just double check you've got the right branding on there. You wouldn't want to send it to a IT candidate for a marketing role, something along those lines. Just again, it adds credence to the relevance of the email that you're sending through. When we're entering the content, and when I say content, this is the actual writing of the email itself that they're going to read. Most people address it as hi, hello, dear, however you want to approach the letter. But to pull through their first name here for each candidate, quite simply, we come up to the contacts field, and the field that we want to select will be their first name. Okay. Now, what I see quite often is this one, owner first name. That's you, or the consultant that owns that particular candidate or contact record. You invariably get it wrong, and the last thing you want to be doing is sending out a mail shot to people and calling them the wrong name. So just double check that you're looking at first name, and this will be the first name, obviously, of that contact. We copy that quite simply, Control V, paste it in, and that will pull through their first name. After this, you write whatever's relevant to you. Okay? Write the content that you want to give to that particular candidate or client about this particular mail shot. If you have a signature, most people do, it will pull that through at the end. But it's always good just to sign it off in your own way, again depending on how formal or informal it is that you want to go through. Once you're happy with that, we've gone through a spell check, we're happy with the subject line, we go to next. I'm just going to go back there just quickly, previous. If you want to pull through other fields, they'll all be here. Any field which is on the candidate record or the client record, you'll be able to pull through. So there could be some information there if you're more advanced in terms of using JobScience. There could be some other things you want to get through. For the most part, contact first name is the one that's default that you should go onto and use. So when we go to next, what we have here is on the occasion, rare that will be now, where somebody's on a device that doesn't support HTML and they still want to be able to read it, because obviously HTML, copy from HTML, they'll bring it through to a text format, they'll be able to read what you've written, and that's obviously the most important thing, whatever device it is that they're on. And then we save. So now we have our template. We've got it saved, it's available for use. One final check, make sure we're happy with everything, and then we're good to go. Now that that template is done, we can now consider sourcing the candidates that we want to send it to. Now I'm going to keep this very generic because I don't know specifically what candidates or contacts you will want to search for, but we do know that we have the global search, we have a contact new view search, and we have the advanced contact search, soon to be power search, which is being released later on this year. So for now, for ease, I've set up a couple of candidates for the Mailshot test, Mr. and Mrs. Mailshot, who are ready to go. Okay. Now I'm jumping forward here. I'm assuming that you know how to search. If not, go to my search session. It'll teach you all about how to find, how to shortlist, and how to go through from there. But even from this page, you know, we can do a bit of filtering. CD have got a value add button here. Everywhere's got the internal summary extract. If I give you an example, I know they don't have software on there, but if I apply the software filter, they'll disappear. Bring it back, and obviously back come my Mailshot candidates. We can then check by people status. We can pull through from mailing town if it's specific in terms of location that you don't want to send it to certain particular contacts. Talk to your administrator. There's a whole host of other things you can pull through here that you think might be relevant. in terms of your filtering process. But let's assume they're both right and we want to add them to a list. We select the one that we want and we add to list, this button here. Okay. Then gives us two options. If we have a list saved already, we will search it here. If it's a new list, invariably it is for a Mailshot, we'll put it in here, give it a title, again, put in a description that will enable you to help and find it later on. I'm going to add that candidate to that shortlist. Total contacts added 1, great. I'm going to show you this as well. If I try to add both now, because I've created the shortlist, I'm going to come up here now because I know that I've already created that shortlist. Search for my Mailshot. I've got a few on there already. I believe it's this one, and I'm going to add to shortlist. There we go. Now you can see there that only one has added. That is because I've already added the first one. It won't add this one on again. So it avoids you having the concern of sending it to multiple contacts multiple times. It won't do that. What I will say this now, and it's not on the screen, if you have pages and pages of candidates or contacts that you want to send it to, you have to add to the list page by page. Now you can see up to 50 at any one time. However, if I was to click all of these, go on to a next page, click them all again, I will lose that first page. So just let me reiterate that. Do it page by page. Click all the ones that you want, add them to a list, go to the next page and do the same again. Otherwise they will fall off the list. It's really, really important that you look into that. So we've added them to the list. We now have our shortlist, which you'll find in this tab up here. If you do not see the shortlist tab up here, go to the plus button, and these are all of your tabs that are available to you by your administrator. You will find it here if it's not on your tabs. Here's my list that I've saved, the Mailshot, and there's my two candidates that are on there. If I want a speed review, I'll talk about speed review another time. You can do that. If you then decide they're not right, you can quite simply remove contacts one by one to leave you with a very, very effective and focused shortlist. So now I want to actually send it. I select the ones that I want. I go to send email. This will all be blank. If you haven't created a template, this is what you're faced with, but we have. We had Mailshot, test Mailshot training, and there we go. Content, hi Mailshot 1234, which we know is their name. We've got the branding, which we like. Now there will be down here, you see where it says no attachments, because JobScience is obviously the recruiting platform, and invariably you will have saved a CV on candidates. You'll see a plethora of attachments. They're all the candidates' CVs or offer letters or so many other things you might have put on there depending on your particular business model. Please make sure none of them are attached. If you do, you'll end up sending to everyone else's CVs or offer letters or contracts, all the things that you really don't want to do. I've seen it happen before, it's not pretty. Make sure nothing's ticked, okay? Once you're happy with the template, you're happy with who you're sending it to, we're then ready to send. Once you've sent, you'll get a report. If it's not there, or if it's opted out, they won't have the email. If it's been bounced back, it means the email's wrong, or there isn't one on the system if it hasn't been corrected or inputted correctly. So a quick recap, things you need to remember. First and foremost, build your template. Secondly, search for your candidates, add them to a shortlist, page by page. We then go to our shortlists, and we're ready to send by send an email. Thanks for listening. Loads more on there. Any help, I'm here if you need me. Harry@cdsr.com. Feel free.